everybody. Can I have everybody take their seat? We're about ready to begin. So with that, it is my pleasure to introduce our mayor, Jacob Smith. It was his vision last year to create this event to recognize the many good things and good people that make Golden such a great community. So please join me in welcoming your mayor, Jacob Smith.
Not sure what was causing that. I'm going to do my best not to cause feedback tonight. Okay. Well, welcome everybody. I'm really, really pleased to see you all here. This is the last page of my speech. It'd be fun to get to the end of my speech and leave out the last page. It's really nice to see you all here tonight. Well, so I'm going to have to use the mic, I think, Carlin. I'm getting the signal from the back of the room. So I'll just do my best to keep it away from the other mic. I first want to thank you all for coming tonight. It's really, I love this town. It's really, really amazing that we are so enthused in this community to recognize people in this community doing amazing things and recognize the amazing town that we live in. And I'm really grateful for that. The sponsors, I want to shout out to them. Kevin covered that, but their contributions they keep the ticket prices affordable, and that's really important to me. So I'm really grateful to them as well. And then Rotary Club really does make this, they do all the work, make this event happen. And Kimberly and Brian in particular really worked hard for this evening. I moved to Golden close to a decade ago from the North Fork Valley in western Colorado. It's the North Fork of the Gunnison River. I lived in a town called Paonia, which is a wonderful mix of coal miners with 3 coal mines in the valley, farmers, hippies, I think, that moved there in the 70s and just never left, retirees, journalists with High Country News, artists, artisans, factory workers. Paonia is truly a small town, 1,600 people. My high school in Aurora has a larger population and more traffic lights than Paonia does. The running joke in Paonia, which wasn't really a joke, was that while ordinarily you would never lock your car in Paonia, during the fall, you had better lock your car or you'd come out to discover a pile of zucchini and other vegetables in the passenger seat that somebody left from their garden. When I moved back to the Front Range, I wanted to live somewhere that had the same sort of diversity of perspective and the same sort of small-town character, where regardless of your differences of opinion, you would still share zucchinis with your neighbor. Community comes first in Paonia, regardless of differences of opinion, and politics comes second. If you ask me why I chose to make Golden my home, I'll tell you that it's because Golden embodies very deep in its DNA a commitment to our unique small-town character and that same sort of deep commitment to community. And the remarkable thing, I think, is that if I ask all of you why you're here in Golden, why you've chosen to make Golden your home, I suspect you would offer a very similar answer. Whether you're a Golden native or a newcomer, whether you work at Coors or an accounting firm or the National Renewable Energy Lab, whether you're 25 or 85. In fact, last year when we undertook the task of creating a new Golden Vision, this was Golden Vision 2030, virtually every single Golden community member engaged in the process offered the same answer to that very question. And the numbers are seriously impressive. 10% of our entire population participated in that process. 1,800 people participated in Golden Vision 2030, contributing ideas, stories, perspectives, and nearly everybody expressed how much they valued our small town look, feel, and character. I'm going to spend a few minutes this evening sharing with you some thoughts about the state of our town, the challenges ahead, and a roadmap for meeting those challenges. But the backdrop is that we truly are a community of people who care deeply for our community. We may not all mean exactly the same thing when we say that, but we very clearly share a very deep conviction about protecting and sustaining the things that make Golden special. All right then, so how are we doing as a community? The short answer, I think, by any measure is that we are doing extremely well. Take a look outside for one thing. Any of you who spent time downtown this weekend, the summer tourist season is long past, and yet downtown was hopping. We weathered the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression and did so in extremely strong fashion. Our bond ratings actually, this is the market's assessment, their confidence in the city's financial condition. Our bond ratings went up as the economy tumbled. That's how well run the city is and what kind of financial shape we're in. Our cash reserve is larger now than it was at the beginning of the economic crisis, and city revenues are growing again. We enjoy a quality of life and a quality of services and amenities that are second to none, and it's all the more impressive for the small scale of our community and our budget. If there were a way to measure cultural and civic participation, Golden would top the scales. How is it that Golden has been able to rise to challenges and even thrive in this time of difficulty? I've got a few answers. The first is our professional staff. I've spent a lot of time over the last 7 years with our city staff, and I visited every single department. Actually, I don't think I visited IT, but I bugged them a lot about my email, so I think that counts. I rode along with the snowplows and the street sweepers, visited our water plant, wastewater, the plant operators, rode along with police officers and the dispatchers. The dispatchers call it sit-alongs. They don't actually go anywhere. I spent time with the fire department at their academy, their training, visited our parks with our park staff. Well, I can tell you that here in Golden, we truly have an exceptional, extremely motivated, highly competent, and deeply committed staff across the organization. There's a second reason, I think, that we're doing so well. Golden's residents are deeply engaged in making government work. Through our advisory boards, our ad hoc task forces, our neighborhood and master planning efforts, the community-wide projects like Golden Vision 2030, every time there's an event that impacts people in this community get engaged. As Judy Dennison, who's one of our award recipients this evening, said, "I like to feel we matter and can make a difference." And that's very true in Golden, very true. It's a participatory town, not a spectator town. It's well said. And the answer also involves, I believe, our ardent commitment to community. As I talked about last year in my State of the Community address, our fierce insistence that we are neighbors first, that we look out for one another, and that we recognize we all do better when we work together. Barbara Fall, another one of our award recipients this evening, said, "I love the fact that every time somebody has an idea in Golden, people really get on the bandwagon and contribute to it and add to it and work on it like the new garden." That's also well said. That's, I believe, why Golden has done so well facing the challenges of the 21st century. So, what lies ahead? I want to highlight 4 important challenges and offer my views on how to tackle them and sustain Golden's remarkable success in the decades ahead. The first of those challenges is presented by regional population growth. There are nearly 3 million people living in the Denver metro region today, and another 1.4 million people expected over the next 25 years. That's almost a 50% increase. What does that mean for us here in Golden? Despite the physical protection afforded by North and South Table Mountains, despite our 1% residential growth limit, despite our new comprehensive plan, neighborhood plans, our other proactive plans, all these really do help us mitigate against the impacts of regional growth. But despite all of that, this continuing explosion in the number of people in the region will still mean impacts for Golden. It will mean more traffic, more pollution, more pressure on our water supply and water quality, increased stress on our infrastructure, continued pressure to build a toll highway that impacts Golden, and more sprawl surrounding Golden. So how do we tackle the challenges posed by regional population growth? First, leadership. We need to continue taking an active leadership role on regional policy issues through the Denver Regional Council of Governments, the Metro Mayor's Caucus, and other regional collaborations. The second is vision and commitment. We need to remain committed to implementing our new comprehensive plan, neighborhood plans, and Golden Vision 2030, including our commitment, and I'm quoting now from Golden Vision 2030, to direct and manage change, assure smart growth, affordable housing, and sustainability, and to preserve the small town look, feel, and character of Golden today and for future residents. And then finally, I believe we need to protect an open space buffer around Golden. We're fortunate to have some protected open space around our town now, but there still is some important unprotected land. which will almost certainly get developed in the next decade or two, bringing sprawl literally to our doorsteps, unless we take the initiative now to protect that land. The second challenge, I think, facing us that I want to highlight this evening is sustaining and nurturing Golden's economic vitality. Our economic vitality, I believe, has three legs. Our retail economy is the first one. It's the most obvious. It directly generates sales tax. We all see our retail stores. We all spend time in there and spend money there. And so we understand that the most readily. The second leg is, I think, 2 decades of investment in our quality of life. And by this I mean providing high-quality services and amenities, protecting our property values, and making Golden an incredibly desirable place to live. The third is our primary jobs. And I think this is incredibly important, but it's also the least understood. Primary jobs are those involved in actually manufacturing goods or technology or knowledge. These are jobs that themselves create other jobs, amplifying their economic impact throughout the community. But here's the problem. There is a growing gap between the very high level of services and amenities that Golden residents have come to expect and our ability to pay for that level of services and amenities. For one thing, the cost of providing the things we value so much is likely to continue growing faster than the rate of inflation. It wasn't very long ago that we were facing double-digit inflation rates in construction. And that, by the way, is the stuff that we tend to spend money on: asphalt, concrete, parks, roads, facilities. As the economy recovers, and especially, I think, as the economies of China and Brazil and other countries like them heat up again, we're likely to see construction inflation escalate again. For another thing, Jefferson County and the entire Denver region are aging. By 2035, 1 in 4 residents of the Denver metro region will be 60 or older. And an aging population simply needs different kinds of services and amenities, and infrastructure for that matter. On the revenue side, we expect that consumer spending is going to continue shifting from consumer goods, which we do tax, to consumer services, which we don't tax. We're expecting declining financial support from federal and state governments. That is not a surprise to anybody in this room. And many economists predict that most people will simply spend less money for years to come because of their experience during the Great Recession. How do we tackle this challenge? The answer will, of course, include continuing to find new efficiencies in city operations and technology investments that save us time and money. But the City of Golden is already a lean organization, and we won't solve this gap between our expectations and our ability to pay for those expectations simply by squeezing out more efficiencies from the system. Part of the answer is to make sure we evaluate quality of life and other infrastructure investments in terms of their long-term value, not just the short-term costs and benefits. Investments that protect our property values and improve our long-term energy security, for example, those will be critical investments. Part of the answer, I think, will also involve creative collaborations with schools, as I'll mention in a moment, and with other community organizations to leverage resources and amplify impact. But most importantly, we will either need to reduce the level of services and amenities, or we'll need to generate more revenues, or some combination of both. If I may quote Jon Stewart speaking to Oprah Winfrey, as I did last year, but it's on point, "I'm not crazy about paying taxes, but I like having sewers." Our challenge is that it will become more and more difficult to pay for the things we value without increasing revenues. So over the next year or two, I believe we need to have a serious community conversation about the level of services and amenities we expect and our ability to pay for them. The third challenge I want to highlight is maintaining a strong system of public education. This is among the more vexing challenges to me because the solution is simply not clear. But here's what I know. Our school funding system is broken. Public education has become an ideological battlefield, which makes it really difficult to have open, creative, solution-oriented conversations. Our teachers, principals, and parents do an amazing job, especially with the resources that they have. And Golden is blessed with really good schools. But they face real challenges. For instance, Jeffco schools are funded at $1,800 per student, funded at $1,800 less per student than the national average. And by the way, when I was here a year ago, that number was $1,400. It's gotten $400 per student worse in 12 months. Students in Jeffco schools speak more than 100 languages, including 18 at Shelton and 23 at Golden High School, which presents real challenges if we are going to live up to our commitment to make sure every kid has the opportunity for a good education and to succeed in life. And most of our schools continue to see steady increases in the number of kids on free and reduced price school lunches. The school year has only just started, and Golden's backpack program has already seen a 30% increase in the number of students they're helping compared to last year. That's a direct reflection of the environment. I don't know the answer, but I do think it will involve some of the following. We need to be creative and ask hard questions. We need to set aside ideology. We need to be open-minded and curious, and we have to be willing to experiment and to take risks and know that some of those experiments aren't going to work. Fourth, we need to be forward-looking, recognizing that a successful 21st century school system will not look the same as a successful school system from the last century. And finally, we need to nurture meaningful and enduring partnerships between the schools and school district, the community, and the city. Collaborations like the Golden Schools Foundation and innovative ideas like Councillor Fisher's proposal to share parks and playgrounds are the types of approaches that we simply have to take. The fourth challenge I want to highlight this evening, finally, is maintaining an inclusive, responsive, and trustworthy local government. The City Council has taken seriously its commitment to setting the highest bar for government accountability, accessibility, and transparency. Among the steps we've taken are websites and blogs, and updating the city's website, which is coming soon. The award-winning Golden Informer, televising and live streaming city council meetings, making our packets available online, our email newsletters, our Facebook pages, and other social media. A thorough and transparent process for evaluating the city manager. Our community accountability report, the new one which we just published last week. And by the way, I am very grateful that we televise city council meetings because after January, I can watch them with a beer in my hand. This level of meaningful involvement by community members in city government and this level of government transparency are truly rare among local governments. And they are, in my view, a cornerstone of why Golden is such an exceptional community. On this challenge, I think that the roadmap is actually easy. Keep doing what we're doing and continue finding new ways to keep the sunlight shining on how city government works, to make city data available to everybody and to be as responsive as possible to everybody in the community as possible. I started my remarks this evening by talking about the high value that we all place on being good neighbors and on putting community before anything else. But I think there's something else that lies underneath that's even more important and more fundamental. In 2008, J.K. Rowling, who is the author of the Harry Potter books, she gave a commencement address at Harvard University, and in that speech she made the case for the importance of imagination. She said that imagination is the uniquely human capacity to envision that which is not, and therefore it's the fount of all invention and innovation. Imagination powers so much of what we need here in Golden to thrive in the 21st century. Innovation, problem solving, the ability to imagine what isn't but could be. And these are the kinds of gifts, by the way, that Steve Jobs exemplified. But Rowling also says something else about imagination. In its arguably most transformative and revelatory capacity, it is the power that enables us to empathize with humans whose experiences we have never shared. And I believe she's right. Our willingness to engage our neighbors with empathy, our willingness to put ourselves in each other's shoes, to understand how other community members see issues, how they see the issues and challenges that we face, and to do so earnestly and respectfully, I believe that is our greatest strength as a community. This doesn't mean we will always see eye to eye. We won't, and you know that. And sometimes our disagreements will run really deep, and I think that's okay. But it does mean, I believe, that we are willing to assume good intentions, to understand why our neighbors might see things differently than ourselves, and to work together toward pragmatic solutions. It means most fundamentally that we recognize that we all share the same passionate commitment to this very special, historic, small-town community. Abraham Lincoln famously said that democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And FDR offered a similar thought. Let us never forget the government is ourselves and not an alien power over us. We live these ideas here in Golden. With our deep commitment to community, with this caliber of city staff, with our strong leadership from City Council, and with the power of our collective imagination and empathy for each other, I have every confidence that Golden will continue to thrive in the decades ahead. Thank you. Thank you. As everyone who lives in Golden knows, every time you turn the corner, there is somebody else that you didn't know about doing something amazing to make this community better. I wanted a way to recognize those communities that were making truly exceptional contributions to Golden. And so I created the Mayor's Awards for Excellence for that purpose. The hard part, as you might imagine, isn't finding people who are worthy of recognition. It's picking from among the many who are. So I appointed a diverse committee of Golden residents who took on the very difficult task of selecting recipients for the award from a hefty pile of very impressive nominees. The committee this year had 6 members: Michelle Beckman, Bob Burrell, Diane Chesbrough, Sue Middleton, Warren Spalding, and Meg Van Ness. And I offer my deepest thanks to those 6 for taking on this incredibly challenging task. 2 of the committee members are here this evening to present the awards. Would you please join me in welcoming Michelle Beckman and Bob Burrell?
I'm Bob Burrell, this is Michelle Beckman, and we were part of the Mayor's Committee, as he said, to decide on some people and an organization to be recognized this evening. This first person is a neighbor of mine. This award recipient has been a resident of Golden since 1975. After teaching English at Manning Junior High School, now Manning Middle School, and starting a business with her husband designing and installing swimming pools, she earned an appointment to Golden's Parks and Recreation Advisory Board in 1995 and began what was a 15-year volunteer effort to create the exceptional parks and recreation system we now enjoy. Some of the highlights during her tenure include, as she served as both chair and vice chair, the Splash, Open Space Fund, Fossil Trace Golf Course, expansion and remodeling of the community center, Clear Creek Whitewater Park, White Ash Mines Park, both of our dog parks, Mountain Bike Skills Park, Rooney Road Soccer Fields, picnic shelters at Normandy Park, Community Garden, and the new footbridge over Clear Creek. Thanks in part to her efforts last year, Golden received the Gold Medal Award for having the best parks and recreation system in the country for cities of similar size. Despite the long hours and hard work serving on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, she also found time to volunteer at other community groups for other community events. For example, tending bar at the Foothills Art event. We're honored to present the Mayor's Award for Excellence and Certificate of Special Congressional Recognition to this community volunteer, tireless contributor to Golden, and leadership in creating this exceptional parks and recreation system to Barbara Fall.
To receive this honor. Thank you.
If you take a stroll through the Golden Community Garden today, you'll see an incredible array of garden pots, fruit trees, and sunflowers, community members tending to their vegetables, and community potlucks in the garden pavilion. The scene couldn't be more different from what you would have noticed just a few years ago. The site served for decades as the city's maintenance shops, and when the city moved these shops to the north end of town, what was left behind were empty buildings, debris, and dirt piles. This recipient saw what the site could become and knew how hungry Golden was for a community garden. He helped catalyze the Golden Community Garden effort, recruited a team of volunteers, worked closely with city staff and city council to develop a plan, helped create an organization that takes responsibility for managing and maintaining the garden, and has literally dedicated thousands of hours to making all of this happen. Simply put, he saw a need, developed a vision, worked with a wide array of community members, and made it happen. We are also recognizing this recipient for his commitment, for fostering a civic culture in Golden of thoughtful participation and mutual respect. He actively promotes community dialogue on important issues like transportation and the Clear Creek Master Plan. He's encouraged hundreds of people to participate in city council meetings and community decision efforts. In the words of his nominators, he works tirelessly to help make Golden the best community possible. He brings out the finest in others and encourages civic engagement by being a role model and a supporter. Matt Brady, thank you for being such an exceptional member of the Golden community, and congratulations on receiving the Mayor's Award for Excellence.
This award winner's contributions to Golden are remarkable, not only for how long she's been at it, but also for their diversity. Her legacy includes a long career as a math teacher at Golden High School, and as Mayor Smith said, our educators are so important to our community. She's also been a long-time volunteer with the Golden Police Department. But among the many ways that she has been part of the Golden community, her role with Leadership Golden is especially important. Although it depends on the efforts and the commitments of a lot of other volunteers, she led the steering committee, organizing the program and all of the sessions for 16 years. 250 community members have graduated from Leadership Golden program, themselves becoming active leaders in Golden civic and community life. This award winner not only exemplifies a commitment to Golden herself, she has also helped hundreds of others to do the same thing. We congratulate Jan Martinuska for being a recipient of the Mayor's Award for Excellence.
Golden is filled with people who volunteer for community organizations, who step up to help families in need, and who help ensure that everyone knows what's going on and just how to get involved. This award winner not only does all of these things, she sets the standard. Her contributions are numerous and diverse. She is the membership and volunteer chair with the Golden Community Choir, member of Save the Mesas, an active member of the Golden Rotary Club. She leads emergency relief efforts for families in need and has even spearheaded efforts in Golden to help people displaced by Hurricane Katrina. She is a champion for accountability and accessibility in city government. This winner even single-handedly publishes the weekly Golden newsletter at her own expense, helping to ensure that everyone knows about our remarkable array of community events, what City Council and staff are working on, how all of this impacts our community, and most importantly, how to get involved in events and projects of interest. Judy Dennison is a cornerstone community volunteer, a good Samaritan, and a town crier, all wrapped up into one. And we are very pleased to present her with the Mayor's Award for Excellence.
This award winner understood the growing popularity of mountain biking. He recognized the city's commitment to promoting health and wellness. He knew how important it was for kids and adults to have a place to learn mountain biking skills. Putting all these pieces together, he saw how much Golden would benefit from a mountain bikes skill park. 2 years later, Golden is now home to the Golden Bike Park. Along with the scores of volunteers who were also inspired to commit their own free time during the hard labor of moving dirt and building trails, he persuaded key sponsors to make critical financial contributions. He worked tirelessly with community groups, neighbors, the city's Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, city staff, cycling advocates, and his many mountain bike enthusiastic neighbors to build an effective collaboration and solve the many technical and design challenges of this park. The award winner gets credit not only for his leadership on the Bikes Park, but also for creating a new partnership model for making great things happen in Golden when the city's resources alone are inefficient. As his nominator wrote, not only was he instrumental in ensuring the project maintained momentum through the multi-year process, the project proved to be a successful new path for developing projects between the city and residents. This unique private-public relationship is a model for how community members can work to develop resources within our city. Congratulations to Taylor Shaw for receiving a Mayor's Award for Excellence.
Thanks for coming.
Our final award presentation this evening is a little different than the rest. We all know that Golden is filled with remarkable community members doing remarkable things, solving problems, helping each other, and making Golden a stronger and healthier community. But Golden is also filled with remarkable businesses and entrepreneurs who operate and grow them. One special version of the Mayor's Award for Excellence is the Entrepreneur of the Year Award. It allows us to recognize businesses that stand out for their entrepreneurial success, job creation in Golden, and technological innovation. We are very pleased tonight to recognize two of these entrepreneurs and their business with the Entrepreneur of the Year Award. Aaron Maiden and Gary Jones are part of the team leading a Golden company called MV Systems. Their specialty is developing processing systems for thin film deposition. The engineers in this room might understand that this involves PECVD and sputtering process chambers incorporated into a unified installation. However, for everyone else, including myself, MV Systems makes an incredibly cool thin film renewable energy technology, pushing the envelope on both solar and solar to hydrogen innovation. That's still a mouthful too. MV Systems and the team behind this impressive business epitomize the American entrepreneurial spirit and contribute to a great deal to Golden's economic vitality and our role as a hub of technological innovation. We are very pleased to present the Entrepreneur of the Year Award to Aaron Maiden, President, and Gary Jones, Manufacturing Supervisor of MV Systems.
I think tonight reminds us of just how privileged we are to live in a community like Golden. Thanks again to all our sponsors that made this event possible, made it affordable. I would like to close in saying that a great community doesn't just happen. It's made up of the effort of many people working together for the things they believe in, looking beyond just their personal interests. So many people have come before us working for many things collectively that have made Golden such a great place to live. And that work never ends. There are countless ways that we can all contribute to making Golden a great community. Many of you here tonight are already involved in various community organizations and causes. If you aren't already, please consider exploring the different organizations that we have in our community. Find one that meets your passion. There are just so many ways to help. We have service organizations, school organizations, church organizations, just so many ways to help. I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight. Thank you for caring about your community.